All right, thank you for joining us today. This is Viewpoint Ministries podcast, and this is the time when we get to, take a quick look into a particular topic for the day. And for about 5 minutes or thereabout, 5 10 minutes, we will look at this particular topic, and we will get to have a quick understanding of what it is. Now, of course, I want you to pay attention even as we do this. Yes, my name is Solomon Oluwabiyi, and I'm glad to be your host today. I'm going to bring our guest on right now. Miss Tiffany, welcome to this platform and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so all of our viewers, Miss Tiffany is the founder and the CEO of Excel and Excel platform. And right there on the screen, you can see. And for those who are going to be listening to this on audio first, it's like Excel, excellence, okay? Excel, Excel, EXCELEX is in X ray, HALE. Okay, so she founded it on a personal body to let go of anxious toil and begin embracing God's design for work and rest after her first-hand experience of the effect of neglecting this design. She equates to she realized working to exhaustion does not equate to excellence, and since then she's been committed to embracing God's design for work and rest while empowering others to do the same. Again, thank you for joining us today.
Super excited to be here. Thank you for having me once again.
Nice. So today we are going to be talking part of the leadership on this side, and it is the role of Christian leaders in our society. And for the purpose of those who are listening to this on audio, or if you're watching this as video, we just ended a live program on Let's Talk About Jesus. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Viewpoint Ministries, look for today's program. That is where we have this conversation about the challenges and responsibility of Christian leaders. That's the clip you want to look for. Okay, so this is kind of like offshoot of that particular topic. And so, Stephen, I want us to look at the role of Christian leaders in our society. When John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on the leader. When Jesus was here in a bodily form, and people gathered together to listen to him, after he finished, in some occasions, he will make sure that the people, get filled. He makes sure that the people eat, and actually some people were looking for him because they know they will eat,
Because they wanted to eat.
you know and so you can see him in that place where he doesn't like people to go hungry, where he makes sure that he takes care of people's need, not just in spiritual. You can
Yeah.
see his sacrifice dying on the cross. You can see his authority when he entered the temple, the synagogue, and he chased out those who were selling and buying. Well, what do you say the role of Christian leaders in our society in these days and age? Over to you.
Yes. I love that you started off with the example of Jesus and just how he lived his life. He was very people first, like he submitted himself to God and had a heart for the people as well. And, like you said, often he wouldn't just preach a word, he would see people hungry and give them food, right? There's a different cases where he would heal or raise somebody from the dead and say, okay, get them something to eat. He cared about the whole person, and that's what a leader, a Christian leader, should be in this society. Those are the leaders we need. Those who don't just have great skill, right, and knowledge, but those who have an upright heart, a heart of integrity, a heart that is yielded to God and cares for the people. I think that's super, super important. And I always say, without a need for change, there's no need for leadership. Leadership comes into the picture when you need change. And because there's so many different things in our society today that's in need of changing, that is where the tool of Christian leadership comes into play.
So, without a need for change, there is no need for leadership. How can the leadership, the current spiritual and people who are into, the things of the kingdom. What are the things that they can do to replicate themselves? Because we're not going to live forever as
Yeah.
people of the same, by changing status, by transition, some other people will come. And until Christ come, that is, what will continue to happen. How can leader replicate themselves?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. One is allowing people to see you do the work, allowing people to see you walk in the example of what should be done, and
Mm.
then entrusting them with that vision and making the vision very clear. So not only do you state the vision, you live that vision out, and then you bring other people along to join in. That's exactly what Jesus did, which allows us to do what we're doing today, right? He walked this earth, he showed us the way, he communicated the vision clearly and then said, now you go out and make disciples. And we are still doing that many, many, many years later. And that's what a good leader does. He doesn't just state the vision, but he lives it out. Jesus set the pace. Before he asked us to do something, he showed us how it's supposed to be done. Before he asked Peter to walk on water, he was walking on water with Peter at that time as well, right? And so as leaders, we have to not just state the vision over and over again so people can understand it, but bring them along, allow them to be a part of it, live it out yourselves. And the last example I will share is Moses. Moses was a leader in his day and age who was struggling with that mindset of just doing everything on his own. But his father in law hopped into the scene. The story can be found in Exodus 18 for anybody who's interested in studying it more. But his father in law hops in the scene and is like, listen, Moses, you have to delegate, you have to allow some other people to be leaders as well. And so, what Moses began to do is pick out people who didn't just have a capable um, the skills that are needed, but they also had an honest heart and they feared God as well. And then he started trusting them with responsibilities. And so I think as leaders, not just stating the vision and living it out yourself, but bringing in some other people and allowing them to have some leeway and some opportunity to walk in that as well.
So, as we round up today, what then happened when people are not winning? It's a different thing for the leader to want to bring people on board, to want to train people for the time to come. What happened when people are not winning to do so? How can the leader handle that?
Yeah, when people are not willing, um, I think sometimes you want to understand why are the people not willing. It be a disconnect in what the vision is, or is it a lack of clarity to what the goal here is? And if you find that it's because things are unclear as a leader, your job is to recommunicate the vision in a way that is clear so that the people you're leading actually want to be led and follow along.
Wow. Very powerful. So, thank you so much for making it today with us here on this podcast part, and thank you so much. We hope to have you very soon back again. Thank you. All right,
Thank
so
you.
in the studio, and I will be right back. And to all of our viewers, well, you have listened to our guest today, and again, I will encourage you to go back and actually watch the live program we had where we talk about the challenges and responsibility of Christian leader. And of course, on this side, we've just looked at the role of Christian leader in our society. And before I leave today, I want to leave you with this word from Oswald Sanders in his book, Spiritual Leaders. He says, above all else, spiritual leaders require spirit-filled people. Other qualities are important. To be spirit-filled is indispensable. That is, there is no other way out of that. A person can have a brilliant mind and possess heartful administrative skill, but without spirituality, is incapable of giving truly spiritual leadership. I hope that you take this week to examine your your leadership characters and your leadership attributes. I hope you will take this time to take a look at some challenges that you are facing. I hope that you will take this week to re-examine even yourself as well to see What are the things that you can put in place? How can you ensure that these things does not hand on you, that it goes to another generation, and continues like that until Christ comes? Well, this is where we're going to be handing it today. I remain your Solomon Oluwabiye, and until next time, remain blessed. Don't forget though to follow us on all the social media platform at Fieldpoint Ministries, and of course, get to listen to our podcast on any of the podcast of your choice: Apple, Google, Amazon, and until next time, remain blessed. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.